Hey guys, how's it going? I can't believe that we have to talk about this again. It is getting completely out of control, out of hand, out of sense, out of logic. Why are we still having this conversation? Why is the conversation not over? There's a very clear answer here, okay? I don't know if you guys run in the same circles that I do, but I am in a lot of Facebook groups online. I see a lot of comment sections on a lot of videos on YouTube, and I don't understand how we are still having this argument about Chibsons. How are they not universally panned? Why are we still letting this infect our hobby? Why are we still allowing people to talk so great about these things and how these things are wonderful and just as good as a Gibson and you're just paying for a name on a headstock and blah, 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 blah. I'm sick of it. The videos that I made about this already have gotten a little bit of traffic. There was one guy who made a video responding to me where he was factually incorrect on a lot of the things that he said, but we're not going to get into that today. And I read these comments all day, every day. And it makes me really mad because it's not just a betrayal of the hobby. It's not just a betrayal of morals and ethics. It's a betrayal of reason. It's a betrayal of the mind. I would love to see a flowchart that shows like the intelligence level of a person who supports these things versus the intelligence level of a person who doesn't support these things. It's absolutely mind-blowing. But today, I came with receipts. Okay? So let's go ahead and start pulling those receipts up, shall we? So I'm going to resize my camera a little bit here. There we go. And then I'm going to pull up a picture. And I will resize this a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So what I did was I went on Facebook and I went and found all these different comments and all these different posts and all these different things to show you that I'm not making this stuff up, okay? This is real. So let's start with this one. This guy, and by the way, I've omitted group names and people names and profile pictures from all of these for the sake of privacy. Even though some of them deserve to be called out, I'm not going to do that. This guy says, I often see counterfeit guitars coming into my shop for work. I've gotten to where I won't touch them. It's always the same story, though. It plays and feels better than a real Les Paul. It just needs the tuners and the bridge replaced. Oh, and a fret level crown and polish on the shitty soft fret wire that's just gonna wear in 6 months. And also, all new pots, switch, jack, and pickups. It's getting more and more common that someone will bring in 5 or 6 at a time that they've bought. And I'm always like, man, you could have just bought a nice guitar with that money. And then when they do get tired of them and sell them off, they end up screwing over kids who've worked and saved their money for a dream guitar. I get a lot of those too. I hate having to tell a parent that their kid got ripped off on a counterfeit guitar that has zero value. I do get the appeal of wanting to find an alternative. I see so many QC issues with high-dollar USA Gibson guitars like bad fretwork, poorly done binding, orange peel finishes, etc. Chibson isn't the answer, though. Okay? Oh, it's just one guy saying this. This guy's opinion is a little bit more valid than yours. And mine, too. You know why? This guy has a shop. He works on these things. Someone's going to comment and say, I run a shop, too, so my opinion's just as valid. Well, we're going to get to why your opinion is invalid here in a few minutes. Let's move on. Okay, next order of business. There are many different groups on Facebook that purport to be special manufacturers of Chibson guitars. You can have a custom order. You have a group buy. If 10 people order, we'll make it. And it's all these different people with these ridiculous names. These Western-looking names that are spelled wrong. Like there's a guy named Johnny, and his name has like 3 H's and 4 N's in it. There's a guy, I'm not going to name anybody else because I don't want you to go find these people. I don't want you to go try and buy these. But They all act like they're these special liaisons, and we're your special contact. You talk to us and we'll make you your custom Chibson guitar, just like you want it, just as good as the real thing. We're going to post all these pictures of these amazing guitars, which, by the way, most of the time, they're just like stock images from Gibson, or they're someone else's reverb listing and they stole the picture. Then they go to their illegal sweatshop and use communist slave labor to make the guitar. Then they ship it to you, and guess what? Most of the time, it's a piece of shit. And you spent up to $500. Some people spent $700 on this stuff. Okay? And here's one example right here. My first order from You Should Be Ashamed of Yourself arrived. And while the pin bridge and nibs are a nice touch, all of the 5 generic Chibsons I've purchased before from unknown sellers on eBay arrived in much better and playable condition and at much less cost. The jack plate was missing 3 of the 4 screws. Just unforgivable. Okay, there's a lot to unpack on this one. So let's start with the first thing. 5 Chibsons? You bought 5 Chibsons, okay? You can't really buy a Chibson for less than about $200. So that's at least $1,000. You could have bought a Gibson Les Paul Standard for that. What is wrong with these people? Okay, and let's go. Next. The jack plate was missing 3 of the 4 screws. What? How does that happen? Unless I'm right. That this is all being made by these people who are being paid slave wages in these sweatshop factories. They don't give a shit about the product they make for you. They don't care. They don't have a brand name that they can't sully with a bad reputation. Because if they do a shit job like this, then who cares? You're not going to know. You're not going to know. They don't have a reputation to maintain. They literally take the Gibson logo and slap it on a plywood turd. Because you're not buying it because it's a good guitar. You're buying it because you're too poor or too stupid to buy a real Gibson or a good alternative. Believe it or not, a Gibson is not the only guitar that is made in the world. It is not the only good guitar that is morally able to be purchased. You can buy an Epiphone for less than $300. It's going to blow away any Chibson. And we'll get to that in a minute. But there's more that I want to talk about here. We're going to zoom in on this picture, and I want you to see some stuff. All right? I want you to see this. Do you see this wood that's going on? You see my cursor? Do you see the wood that's going on here? 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 pieces? What is this ding here? What happened here? What is this ding here? What happened here? You can tell that this is like the most shittily plated chrome plating crap. And look, they didn't even line the holes up with the jack plate. They didn't even try. They didn't even try on this. And guess what? If this guy tries to return it, because he didn't buy it on eBay, he bought it from they who shall not be named, he's not going to get a refund. And here's the best part. They deleted this. This post got deleted out of the Facebook group. Every single day, somebody posts about a Chibson and how it was a piece of garbage and how it was terrible. And guess what? The mods delete the post. They delete the post. It's the most dishonest racket. I can't believe it. By the way, this guitar costs between $350 and $450. Okay? And you can't see the rest of what's wrong with it. There's a lot wrong. That's just what you can see. Let's move on. All right. This guy asks, I have a question for y'all. I've been on a guitar buying spree lately, and this makes number 4 in about 2 months. Okay, so let's use the numbers from before. $200 to $300. So you're looking at $800 to $1,200 on these shit guitars. You could have bought a used standard for that. Just saying. Anyway, this Chibson guitar is absolutely beautiful and could use real Grovers, potting the pickups, though they sound real good. The thing that's making me wonder if I should sell. The guitar has great action, but has a slight buzz around the 15th fret, mostly on the 3 lower strings. I could live with the tuners and the pickups, but I didn't expand it any further. You can already tell, just by looking at this, that that logo is so wrong. It looks terrible. It looks terrible. But again, it's the same story. They're great after you change everything. This car is great after you change the transmission and the oil pan and the gas tank and the steering column and the what? No, that's not how it works. You can't say all that stuff and then say it's an amazing car. It doesn't work with anything else. Name a product. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's like those ads on Facebook that say, car runs and drives great, except it don't go into second gear or reverse. Then it doesn't run and drive great. It's not a great guitar, except it's a shit guitar. You got to replace everything. Everything. $250 to $350 or more. Keep that number in your head. Let's go. Oh, I love this one. I had to show you this. Today marks the 34th anniversary of Stevie Ray Vaughan's tragic death. We lost an iconic guitarist. Owning a, manufacturer name omitted, Tribute SRV guitar is a way to keep his music and legacy alive. Thanks, person whose name I accidentally put on this video. You already know who she is. You've seen her name. If you know anything about Chibsons, you know who this is. So let me get this straight, dude. You think that the best way to honor one of the most influential guitar players in history is to have a slave sweatshop make a rip-off guitar that his estate makes no money from? That is, by the way, objectively a piece of shit with his name on it? You've got to be kidding me. How would you feel if they did that to you? What if you were the greatest, I don't know, whatever? You died. And then some jack-off on the internet says, oh, wouldn't it be the most perfect tribute for him if we had this illegal counterfeit factory make a shitty version of the thing he was known for? No! That is the worst way to keep his music and legacy alive. Go buy a Squire and make great music with it instead. That's honorable. I think you're cool as shit if you did that. And it'd be a better guitar. Okay, here's a guy that I thought he was on the right track, and then he completely fell off the rails and just shat all over himself in the end. It's a double-edged sword. If Gibson wants to participate in capitalism, then they need to accept the risk as much as the reward. Same name on the headstock is wrong because it's false, but go ahead and price your stuff out of reach for most people, and others will find a way to do it cheaper. Like Gibson themselves with the Epiphone brand, perhaps? If Gibson paid and treated their employees well, I would probably not have bought my two, but they don't. And the slave labor that happens in communist China factories, they definitely treat their employees way better than Gibson, by the way. It isn't about support and unity for the Gibson team. It's about the bottom line of the shareholders. So you're profitable when you sell products, and if your products are bad, then they won't sell, and then your shareholders don't make any returns on that. So it's mutually beneficial for Gibson to make good guitars. Do you not understand how business works? So no regrets here. When manufacturing went to CNCing, did Gibson lower prices? Did they give employees a livable wage? Nope. Okay, there is a lot wrong with this sentiment here. First of all, I already kind of said it, but you're going to tell me that you would rather support a company that illegally steals and infringes on copyrights, has shops that have zero labor laws in a country that is communist. You support those companies treating their workers that way, but you won't support an American company in the United States that has something like OSHA, that has overtime laws and any sort of regulation whatsoever on labor and safety. You're not going to support that. You're going to support the other part. That makes no sense to me. That argument is categorically incorrect. Okay? We got to talk about that. Second thing is about the bottom line of the shareholders. Again, wrong. Bottom line of the shareholders. If the company makes a product people want to buy, they will buy that product. And when they buy that product, the company makes money. And when the company makes money, it makes the bottom line for the shareholders better. What happened when Gibson was releasing the robot guitars? Huh? History lesson. Their revenue went down. And the shareholders freaked the hell out because they weren't making enough money. So what happened? What do they do now? Good old-fashioned, Kluson style, Grover style. Normal guitars that people want. Listen to the consumer. People are buying them. Company is solvent. Company is making money. Shareholders are happy. Bottom line is this person is wrong. They don't know what the hell they're talking about with regards to business. And then about lowering prices. Here's the part that nobody gets right. Nobody. This is why I'm convinced that those people who support Chibsons have something wrong with their brain and they don't understand anything. So the way economics works is there's this thing called inflation. And as time goes on, the value of the dollar, we'll use the United States as an example because we are talking about Gibson here. Value of the dollar is less and less. It buys you less and less. Therefore, things need to be more and more expensive. I'm not saying I support inflation. I think inflation is horrible. But here's the thing. If you look at how much a Gibson Les Paul cost back in like the 70s versus today, in today's dollars, if you charge the same price as you would charge in the 70s, you'd be charging $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a Gibson Les Paul. But what do they cost? $2,700 for a standard. That's a lot of money. I'm not going to say that it's cheap because it's not cheap. Should the very best thing be cheap, by the way? The idea that you're entitled to the best thing at an affordable price is stupid to me. You get what you pay for, right? But when you look at inflation and you look at the value of the dollar, go do the math for yourself. I challenge you to do that. Go find the MSRP for a Gibson Les Paul in 1970, okay? Use an inflation calculator and tell me how much that is in today's dollars. Then compare it to how much a new Gibson Les Paul costs today. I guarantee you that today it is way cheaper when accounting for inflation. Okay, so that's just wrong. Did Gibson lower prices? No, but they did not raise it at the same rate as inflation in the rest of the market. If you want that to change, keep going. Keep buying these illegal shit guitars, although they're never going to get your money anyway because you could never afford one. Let's go to the next slide here. Oh, no, people aren't going to sell them. They're not going to sell them as real. It only becomes a problem if they sell the Chibson on the market, and they're not going to do it. They're going to keep them for bullshit. Look, anyone have any insight if this is real? This is a fakey McFakerson guitar right here. Look at that. Look at that. Anyone have any insight if this is real? This is the problem. Oh, that's just one example. Here's another example. This is a shop. This is an actual shop. A brick and mortar store that has a website, and one of my friends goes to the store. They are selling a Chibson in a store for $449. This is Canadian dollars. So in Patriot dollars, that's a bit less. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if this was free. Because if I took this home and I sold it again later on, this disclosure here only applies to this sale. Future disclosures, nope. And, oh, surely that's the only example. Oh, no, there's another one. Oh, they're not going to sell them. They're not going to sell them on the secondary market. What the hell is this? For those in the UK, I've got a Chender 50s AVRI. It's not a 50s AVRI Strat, by the way. It's a bullshit Chinesium counterfeit illegal. I recently got from Polaris. They are bad. I will tell you why in a minute. Plays really well with nice low action and leveled rounded frets. I gave it a relic and a new gloss nitro finish because the manufacturer's nitro tends to be satin. Comes with a trem bar and a back plate. 275 pounds. You can buy a Mexican Fender for 275 pounds if you do the conversion to American dollars. They're not going to end up on the secondary market. Don't worry about bullshit. Oh, this guy disclosed it. Great. What about the next guy? What about 5 guys from now? Huh? What's going to happen then? Go to Reddit right now. Go to the Gibson Les Paul subreddit and just search real or search fake. This market is ruined because of these idiotic people. Oh, another one? No way. A Chibson stand. Oh, it's only $900. This guy's completely lost his mind. Basically, a Gibson. Everything in it is Gibson, except for the wood, which is China. Oh, good. Good. When I buy a Gibson, because I can actually buy a Gibson. When I buy a Gibson, the only thing I care about is everything but the wood. Because, you know, everything but the wood can be replaced. The wood is the one thing you cannot upgrade. And it is the one thing that is ultimate shit on this guitar. This was reported, by the way. If you see this shit, report it. Report it. Get rid of it. We don't need this stuff. in our market. There, not another one. No way. Chibson assorted Les Paul's copy. Great literacy, by the way. Again, proving the exemplary level of intelligence of the people who peddle these things, buy these things, and sell these things. Just so smart. Chibson assorted Les Paul's copies, period. Brilliant. So smart. They're not going to sell them on the secondary market. Nope, 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 nope. Let's see. How much are they selling them for? I want to buy one, do I? $300. Oh. You could buy an Epiphone standard for that, and it's better than this. $200. That it looks terrible. Why do they all have eye hooks instead of strap? What does this guy think he's Eddie Van Halen? Oh, here they come. Eddie Van Halen played a shitty guitar. It wasn't real. It was yeah, okay. If you fail to see how that argument makes no sense, I can't help you. Okay. And then let's see. Is this the last one? This is the last one right here. This guy was defending the fact that he was asking 500 pounds, which is a lot more in dollars, for Chibsons that he had listed. In fact, I think it might have been these. I'm not sure if it was these or not, but here's what he says. For all those needing a reality check about the price I'm asking, these cost 350 pounds each at cost. So there you go. What did I tell you earlier in the video? Multiple times. I made the investment up front. I did all the waiting. I took all the risk. Oh, what a saint. I love him. I'm asking another 150 pounds on top of that. For that, I'm offering anyone the chance to choose which one you like the best. Oh, good. So when you buy it, you get to choose which one you want. I've never heard of that before, have you? We'll do a proper setup and deliver it within days. Within days. Does he mean like 2 days or does he mean like 25 days? Who knows? Will he bring it all the way to the United States if I send him a message? For that extra, you don't have to invest up front. Oh, invest. Invest! Invest! An illegal counterfeit bullshit guitar. Invest! What is this copium that these people are slurping down? What is that? Or take potluck on what one you get. So, okay, we've acknowledged that they're expensive. We've acknowledged you have to wait forever. We've acknowledged it's an investment, which that one is irrelevant. We've acknowledged that they can be shit or take any risk of damage in transit and then battle the seller for... So that's 5 points that we all make when we argue against these things that this guy's admitting right here. So if you think that's unreasonable, by all means give me a breakdown as to why and share where exactly you can find this guitar for less with the same benefits. I can show you. You want to see it? You want to see? Here we go. Oh, boy. Here it is. Here it is. It's an Epiphone. Guess how much this cost? Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a gold top Epiphone 50s standard inspired by Gibson, a 2021. You can get these for $300 all day long. All day. Chibsons are made in the same factory as Epiphone. No, they're not. But even if they were, then why the hell wouldn't you just buy an Epiphone? Okay? Listen to this guitar. Challenge accepted, and you lose. This is where you find a better guitar with more benefits for less money. I am sick and tired of this. Tired of this. Gibson, I hate Gibson. They're overpriced. I'll never be able to afford one, so I'm going to buy an illegal counterfeit from China. Why not just buy an Epiphone? Because, why? You know what they won't admit to you? Because it says the name they hate on the headstock. That's why they want it. The name they hate is on the headstock. That's why they want it. They do not hate Gibson. They are jealous of people who can afford them. They are jealous of people who bust their ass and work really hard to have nice things. Or they are very terrible guitar players who cannot play, who don't understand what a good guitar feels like. So when they say it's just as good, it really isn't. It really isn't. I will tell you, I'll put my reputation on this, which if I haven't lost it already from some of you, then I won't lose it from this. But this Epiphone, this 50s standard Epiphone, inspired by Gibson, is probably the nicest guitar I have. Okay? You would have thought this whole time that I'm this Gibson fanboy who I am just this asshole who has all this money and he just wastes it all on all this expensive stuff. I have expensive and nice guitars, yes, but this is the one that stole my heart and inspired this video today because this guitar is absolutely amazing and it's moral and ethical to own it because it is officially licensed by Gibson. Gibson made this guitar, but they're made in the same factories. Then buy one. Then buy one. There's no reason to buy a Chibson when this exists. Zero. Not a single solitary reason. And even if this didn't exist, there is no reason because it's not ethical. It is not moral. It is counterfeit. It is illegal. It is thievery. They are charlatans. They are forgeries. They are wrong. And I'm not going to sit here and be this nice guy anymore about this. I'm not going to sit here anymore and just, oh, well, that's your opinion, man. Well, I'm going to say your opinion is wrong. You may be entitled to your opinion, but your opinion can be empirically wrong, and you are wrong. Chibsons are a blight on our hobby. They are a blight on the market. They should be rounded up and burned. And if you really, really want a Gibson Les Paul and can't afford one, that is fine. I understand. I have been in some really bad financial situations in my life. I have. And I get it. I totally get it. If you can't afford a Gibson Les Paul, there is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. You're okay. It's not your fault, maybe. Buy one of these. Problem solved. Problem solved. Moral of the story, Chibsons are still shit. Moral of the story, don't buy one, and if you do, there's something wrong with you. I am not sorry. I do not apologize, and if I hurt your feelings, good.